Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're listening to me. I wanted to take a few minutes and to reach out to as many people as possible to give you the update on how I'm seeing the coronavirus and the plan that Calm is going to be putting into place to deal with the next few weeks or the next few months. Over the last couple of days, I invited my senior board members to join me in Dubai, and we spent 2 days intensively looking at the current situation from a global perspective and putting in place a plan that we think will best suit ourselves, our company and our clients over the coming weeks and months. As you know, coronavirus has really flipped the world on its head. It's like nothing that any of us have seen in our lifetimes. It's disrupted many people, it's disrupted many industries, and hospitality, travel and tourism is one of the fundamental industries that has been absolutely upset by the coronavirus plague, to be candid with you. Countries have dealt with it in different ways. Some countries have banned people entering if they've been in various countries, like maybe Italy or China, over the last 14 days. Some have had a blanket ban. In fact, anyone can't get into that country. Some countries have responded by banning their citizens from travelling, whether it be to specific countries or it be to a whole sort of range of different countries or indeed continents. Some countries are installing quarantines for anyone that comes back from anywhere or from certain countries. Some countries are going further and are putting in place social distancing measures where restaurants are shut and bars are shut, sporting events are cancelled, and gatherings of more than 50, 100, 200 people are simply just not allowed. Clearly, everyone has got a different view on what is the correct way to deal with the spread of this virus. And it's further complicated because one day a government will say something and seemingly 2 days later they may say something totally different. And I think the reality is that many people don't know exactly what is the correct course of action. So it's with this information, or sometimes lack of information, that we have to decide what is the best way forward for Karma, for our members of staff and for our clients. I sometimes feel it's like being on sifting sand. You can make a decision or you can take a view and then all of a sudden the circumstances change. Well, we have a plan, and I believe it's the correct plan. The plan will change during the course of time, but the initial steps are we are going to have to suspend operations in quite a number of resorts, simply because clients can't get to these destinations. So with immediate effect, we are suspending operations, and I say suspend very deliberately, and I'll come back to that in a moment. We're suspending operations in Vietnam. We're suspending operations in Thailand, in both Phuket and also in Koh Samui. We're suspending operations in Gili Meno, in the Gili Islands, just off Lombok. Elsewhere in Europe, we're delaying the opening of our resorts because these weren't opening for a while anyway. So we're delaying for a couple of months our operation in Italy, our resort in Crete. In Germany, we'll be putting this resort on hold, and we'll be looking at the status of St. Martin's when Easter comes, our resort in England. Clearly, it's not nice to have to postpone resorts. It's not nice to have to talk to members of staff and say that we can't operate them. But we have no choice. And we'd be fooling ourselves and clients or members of staff if we didn't take clear, decisive, quick action. When will these open? We're slightly in the lap of the gods. We internally have a date of June the 1st. We'll be constantly reviewing things before that. If we can open resorts effectively before, we will. And if we're unable to open them by that date, then we won't. It's a very simple fact. With people that have made bookings, with clients that are coming to those destinations, we will, of course, honour them. We will work with them and get alternative dates when the virus is gone. We will look at how we can compensate them for their time. Whatever it is, we'll work closely with every single client that was hoping and expecting to come to those resorts. With the members of staff, it will be disruptive. There isn't a magic wand I can wave, I'm afraid. Be assured, with all members of staff, we'll work with them to try and provide the best outcome, to try and provide some financial support if it's needed during this time, and to look at when the resorts open up again, we can install bonuses or ancillary measures to make sure that if income was lost or if time was lost, that we can do all we can to make it back when the good times come around again. I think that the thing to remember about it is it's very hard to have a finite plan because circumstances are changing every single day. Will we have to shut other resorts? Maybe. Maybe not. At this point in time, we're not. At this point in time, we are going to keep Bali open. albeit on a slightly lower level. So there's some inventory which we may shrink down a bit. But we still believe that Indonesians like to come to Bali. There's a strong expat community on the island. And no matter what is going on there in the environment, as long as people can travel, they will come and stay with us. They will come to Karma Beach and have a nice cold beer. They will come and maybe use the spa and have a massage. And in fact, for many expats, with all this horror going on, maybe a good massage or a good cold beer on a beach club is exactly the fillip they need to take their mind off some of the problems. So Bali will remain open, and a very similar situation over in India. India is an interesting case. We're still seeing relatively robust tourism in Goa. So our intention is to keep all our resorts open in India as long as we can, because again, we believe that people will want to stay with us if they can, and they will enjoy coming and eating in our restaurants or visiting our destinations. In West Australia, Rottnest, again, is being quite robust at the moment. I think there's a number of West Australians who were hoping to go holidaying somewhere else, and that's now not possible, or they maybe feel that it's not the best time to do it, but they will come to Rottnest, and so Rottnest will also remain open. So the news is that certainly we do need to shut some assets, but we also are going to do all we can to keep as many as possible open over the next few months and weeks. And as I said, this is slightly a moving target. With these things, I think one thing that's very, very important is to look beyond the storm. And it is a storm. We've seen other storms in Asia in the last 27 years. We've seen earthquakes, we've seen plagues, we've seen civil unrest and economic crisis. We've had tsunamis, we have all sorts of disruptions. And sometimes when you are in the storm, it's easy to forget that the storm passes. And it's easy to forget that life is good again, the sun comes out, and however much fear you feel or however much uncertainty you feel during the storm, it will get better. I think one thing that's important for everyone to understand is that we are a very robust company. We've weathered storms before. As many of you know, we have no debt. We are unlike many of our peers. We don't borrow money precisely because of events like this, because I don't want to be beholden to have to owe money back to other people. We are private, 100% owned by myself and my key management team. That means we're not dependent on the fear in the stock market. There are other companies out there that I look at with horror for no fundamental problem of their own. They've halved in value because investors want to seek harbour somewhere else and suck their money out, driving the price down. We're reasonably liquid. We have cash reserves. We keep a war chest precisely for things like this. We're geographically very well placed around the world, so we've got a variety of resorts in different locations. And very interestingly, unlike a lot of people in our industry, we're quite old-fashioned. We believe in owning the bricks and mortar. So we have a balance sheet. A lot of the resorts that we own 100%. They have no debt on them, and they sit on our books. So there is no such thing as a bulletproof company. There's no such thing as a company which can't run into problems. But I want to assure you that although out there it is tough times, and it's painful times. It's painful times for me, for us. It's painful times for anyone in the world. The company is robust, and the company will sail through this storm, and we will be here when the sun comes out. And my observation is, and I hesitate to say anything that sounds over positive, but over the last 27 years, the time that Karma has most thrived is after adversity. If you look beyond the storm, what does the landscape look like? Well, it probably looks like a lot of assets and resorts and opportunities that are out there that can be acquired at a very beneficial price. And I'm optimistic that when the storm passes, we'll be able to add to our portfolio some very nice locations, some very nice properties around the world in destinations that clients want to go to, that members of staff want to benefit from, that boost marketing. And I think our portfolio will be stronger. So although at this stage, it's probably not the best few days I'm having, I'm every confidence that in a few months when the storm passes, Karma will be stronger, the sun will be out. And also I've every confidence that one of the first things that all of us, myself included, when the storm passes will want to do is have a holiday. And there'll be a lot of space and a lot of people breathing a sigh of relief and joining me for a beer down on the beach. So I'm going to be monitoring it very closely on a daily basis. I intend to do one of these briefings every single week for those that wish to hear what my thoughts are, which will be putting it up online through the social media channels that my very clever people put out there. I'm very interested in other people's feedback and dialogue. Rest assured that from my point of view, the most important thing is the health, the safety, the well-being of our members of staff, of my colleagues, of our members, of our clients. And first and foremost is making sure that happens. So look after yourself, look after your family and your friends, and I'll see you for a beer very soon. And if you'll excuse me, those of you that know me know I have a bit of a sense of humour. So I'd like to leave on a slight light note. I know we've all been bombarded on a daily basis with sort of funny video clips on our phone, and just before speaking to you, I got one which I'd like to share with you. So I'm sure that'll be bolted on the end. But look after yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Я думал, намного лучше будет это все. И очень плохая музыка, просто очень плохая музыка. Я думал, намного лучше это все будет. Сколько раз сюда ходил, было намного лучше, но на этот раз как-то не удалось. Во-первых, народу мама, музыка не очень.
А что за направление?
А?
Что за направление?
Направление? Какое направление?